So at TGV, every episode is special and every guest is special, but every 25th episode is extra special and we invite extra special guests. And today, for our 525th episode, yes, you heard it right. We have done 524 episodes before this, and we are one of the very few podcasts across the world to have completed 524 episodes in the interview based format featuring distinguished guests from across 70 plus country. And today we are joined by a Guinness World Record holder, and she has cycled 19,400 kilometers across 19 states and 5 union territories in India, and that too after ACL surgery. And for those of you who are not familiar with ACL, ACL stands for anterior cruciate ligament. And she's a determined Mount Everest adventurer who scaled to 8,000 meters from the Chinese side, and also a distinguished young scientist awardee in sports psychology research. She was also crowned Miss Mumbai University in 2013. And beyond her all these accolades, she's also an accomplished paraglider, national athlete, cyclist, and rugby player. So I'll be prepared to delve into our conversation on the topic at hand, embracing challenges and learning and loving failures. Here's an exciting twist. First, let us tickle our guest's brain. So, Bhagya, get ready for a rapid fire round of random words. I'll mention a few, and I would love to hear the first thing that comes to your mind in response without thinking much. If you are ready, let's get started.
Perfect. Let's get started. You've done a pretty good research on my entire life story.
That's my job, and let's get started. Bhagya, here comes my first word: failure,
Learnings.
curiosity,
Experiment.
invention,
Go for it.
future,
Realistic.
movie,
Relax time.
inspiration,
My mom.
success,
Failure.
sport,
Journey of life.
role model.
My grandmother.
And the last one is Everest.
My entire life learnings.
Superb. So, Bhagyashree Sawant, thank you so much for participating in the first rapid fire round. And I really appreciate it. There is one more rapid fire round towards the end of the episode. So, stay tuned. And before I formally welcome you to the show, let me welcome the audience. So, folks, you have tuned into TGV, the Guiding Voice podcast series, where we embark on transformative conversations for a better future. And folks, we wanted to simplify and amplify your journey to success. I'm your host, Naveen Samala, dedicated to making the world a better place by bringing you wisdom through valuable discussions with experts designed to simplify and amplify your success. Thank you so much for tuning in. And Bhagya, hearty welcome to TGV. Thank you so much for being part of our journey. And I'm glad we could meet at Zeno Conference at Bengaluru earlier this year. And feeling so humble to have you part of the conversation today. How are you?
I'm totally fine, and I'm super excited for this conversation that we're going to have today. I hope my story inspires, motivates some of them, and helps them achieve their goals.
Absolutely. Your story is going to enthrall and inspire our TGV family for sure. And let's get the ball rolling. We will begin with your success mantra. So please share with us the top 3 things that have contributed to your success so far.
For my success, I would say it's been a wonderful journey. And top 3 things in the sense, the very first thing is my dream. I've never give up on my dreams, no matter how difficult they are. And second is dedication. And third is the entire support system around you. If I can add one more, I would also like to add acceptance, of which I would speak ahead in future during this conversation. Because the acceptance towards every element of your life, whether it's success, failure, it's happiness, sadness, good, bad, whatever it is, it's that one key that will keep you going.
Wow. And the fourth one is super profound, in fact. I loved it. Yeah. And Bhagya, can you share a specific failure or a setback you faced during one of your Everest expeditions and how it ultimately contributed to your personal growth and future successes?
I have many, in fact, from to go in the line when it comes to failures. In fact, I would say I failed more in my life, and that is what has brought me here to the person that I am right now. When you speak of Everest specifically, of course, there were a lot of challenges. When I speak of challenges, right from the monetary challenges, because climbing Everest is expensive, it costs 30 lakh Indian rupees coming from a middle class family. It's very difficult to dream of it. So just getting started, by the time I could arrange my funds, my grandmom sold all their gold jewelries. My father was roaming on streets asking for sponsorships from every random person. But then that delayed my start. But of course, initially that hurdle which was there, which we did overcome, that started my journey. Now, moving to Everest, there were a lot of failures in that way. I did not summit Mount Everest twice. Yay! And I'm happy about it because I don't focus on what I lost. I've been focusing on what I have gained during this journey. I was 18 when I started this journey, and the first time, because I started my journey very late, I had very less time to acclimatize. Though I was super strong, fit, I did the entire training. I used to walk to my college for almost around 4 hours every day with a backpack with 25 kgs of weight, so that I could study at the same time I could train. There was too many things that I did to stimulate my Everest climbing while staying in Mumbai. But then, because I did not acclimatize, I could not go ahead with the journey. And then by the time the summit window was closed, so I had to return back. I had no sufficient time. I felt sick. I lost my memory because my brain was deprived of oxygen. And after 4 hours, I did recover. So as an 18-year-old old girl, it was a lot of emotional trauma that I was going through, because imagine, like, you dreamt of this. In fact, it clashed with my 12th standard board exams, the Everest climb. And that's when I decided that I'm going to climb the mountain. I'm going to give my exams next year. So giving up, and I'm a studious girl that way. It's not that education is something sideline for me. So both of them, it was a tough choice, of course. But then, yeah, my goals were determined, and I was more persistent to overcome this. And the second most failure was after Everest, when I broke my leg. And I knew that as an athlete, my career would not be the same. But then that's where the life lessons of Everest brought me forward and helped me be the person I am.
And you're standing tall in front of everybody. And I was super inspired by your session the other day. And I thought, oh my God, how is she so cheerful even after coming across so many setbacks and all? And it takes a lot of courage and guts to be cheering, right? No matter what. You were almost there, but you couldn't make it. But you are really seeing positives from the negatives, right? So that is one attitude which rarely people have, and kudos for that. And your journey is so inspiring. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to, because this is, in fact, I would add one more challenge for the Everest thing. People whom I admired as role model, in fact, when I spoke to them, I was demotivated after talking to them. So that's one lesson probably I would have, that it's always good to have a role model, but don't interact with them much. Because I've got comment before climbing Mount Everest that, oh, you're so short, how would you do it? Because I'm 5 feet 4 inches,
Right.
3 inches. Yeah, so but that's not the thing, right?
Right.
Especially when I see people. In fact, my record, Guinness record, was broken by a couple of guys. I mean, I'm the only girl who has done it. But then it was inspiring to even motivate them. So during my bicycle ride across the country as well, I went to 400 government school, and when those children came forward like, Didi, mujhe bhi ye karna hai. I'm going to break your record one day. I was so happy. So I feel as a community, we should be more inspiring. But then, yes, if you do get people whom you admire, who demotivate you, just take it in a positive sense and prove them wrong.
Yeah. So inspiring. And let's talk about your knee surgery, right? You have undergone this knee surgery twice, but you just didn't recover, but also achieved remarkable feats. So, what mental strategies did you employ to turn these physical challenges into opportunities for growth?
So, this was a brilliant thing. It comes from my profession as well. I'm a psychologist. And as I broke my leg, of course, I was hurt because I was in the peak career time of my sport, and I was super fit. I've been doing everything hard. So the very first question for any athlete that comes to their mind is, why me?
Yeah.
What did this happen to me? But then I was like, okay, it's me. So crying about it or cribbing about it is not going to put my ligaments back together. So it was important that I take it in a positive sense and look for what I could do ahead. So where my family, friends told me, okay, enough of sports, you've broken your leg, now focus on studies, focus on your education, blah, blah, blah. It kept going on. And that's when I was like, okay, I want to prove you wrong as well. Because especially now when you see in the field of sports medicine, there are so many advancements, and with the proper treatment, proper care, proper rehabilitation, you can always get back to sport. Yeah. And in fact, breaking my leg is my transformational journey. All my life lessons from Everest, that acceptance, no matter what it is, whether it is failure, whether the extrinsic factors are not in your favor, just go ahead with it, give it a try, because you never know. Failure is temporary, but regret of not attempting it can stay forever. So it's important that you go ahead and at least give it a shot. You will never regret in your life, यार काश मुझे उस दिन वो करना था.
Fabulous. And the acceptance part is something which I want to double click. And folks, I think it is important for us to accept whatever has happened has happened. And we don't have anything in control. But not attempting something probably might lead to regret in future. I think that is very wonderful point from Bhagya. And Bhagya, let's move forward. How has your perspective on this failure evolved throughout your career? And what advice would you give to others who fear failure?
My childhood story. So I'll tell you where the source of inspiration came from. And this particular person I would really like to mention was when I was in my fourth grade. I was 8 years old. I read a chapter about Mount Everest by Bachendri Pal, of the struggles that they had and of how their life journey had been. Because there were very few gears available. Now we have like literally a customized, specialized gear for every small, minute technical climb also. But
Yeah.
then that's the inspiration I took. And in fact, after my Everest climb, I did get a chance to connect with her on phone. And I was just so happy. She's a person who's filled with optimism. That one phone conversation with my childhood inspiration role model has actually given me hope that, okay, nothing in life of your failures that you can actually just be cribbing about. You only need to and move on ahead. And when it comes to my entire journey of transforming from failure, I've failed at one thing. You must have known about that story, right? The
Right.
spider who the wall. Yeah, he climbs 9 times, falls 9 times. The 10th time, he still gives it a try, and then he makes it.
Yeah.
And that is the story of persistence, I would say, because persistence is the key. Your dedication, your persistence level need to be intact, and
Yeah.
it's very strong over here.
Hmm.
Now, as a scientist, I did a lot of techniques wherein I did say a lot of positive affirmations and a lot of self talk. Because imagine a lot of times what happens is, let's say you're running a race, you fall down during the race. Somebody from outside is cheering you, like, Bhagya, get up and run. And then you again listen to them, get up and start running. Why do you need a person extrinsically to motivate you or to cheer you? Let that person be yourself. So that's what I do. I tell myself, okay, fine, you're fallen, so what? Just get up and run. So these are some small strategies that I've used for myself. Self-talk has been very tremendously helpful for me. And apart from that, I am a certified clinical hypnotherapist. So I do self-hypnosis just to tune in my subconscious mind that, hey, I'm going to achieve this goal and I am going to do it.
Great. And Bhagya, I would like to share some story before I ask my next question, because there is a lot of resonance and resemblance over there. So if you talk about my background, right, even I come from a humble background, and my mother has to sell all her gold to fund my brother's education, all my siblings' education, right? And today we are here in a respectable position, and all that has happened because of her contribution and also my father's contribution. Of course, he passed away during my engineering second year and all. But when I was listening to your story the other day during that confluence, right, I was really so happy to see somebody making so many sacrifices to make sure that their grandchildren or the grandchild is able to achieve his or her dreams, right? So let's talk about it. So how important has the support of your family, like your grandmom? I think she sold her jewelry to fund your Mount Everest expedition and all, right? So how did this support make a significant difference, and what was your first feeling like when she said, go take this and sell, right?
My grandmom has been the pillar. In fact, I tell my mom also that before you, it's her who always comes ahead. My nanny, and she's my heavenly grandmother now, but I see her as my guardian.
Yeah.
But then she's the one who has raised me throughout my childhood. I've been living with her for my entire life. The lessons that she's taught me are very amazing. First is be shameless in your life. The moment you're afraid of something, you're afraid of failure, you're afraid that you'll be shamed for it, just give that thought aside, because you're not here to keep the world happy. You're here to be happy first, and your actions should make others happy. They should inspire others. And my grandmom's this lesson of being shameless, follow your dreams, chase your dreams. And that was the first step that, in fact, looking at her when my mom also started supporting this line, both of them were said that, Bhagya, you will get married someday, but before that, you have a career to pursue. And we want independence in your life. And rather than us trying to save for your future wedding, we would probably like to spend it on your career. And my family, that way, if you see, because I've been raised with my grandmother and by my mom, most my interaction with dad during childhood were less, but then now they are more. So that's the balance. But then these childhood grooming that I've had by both my mom and my grandmom, they have nurtured me into the person that I am today. Like when you speak of my grandmom, whether whatever small thing it is there, because my mom was working and I used to stay with my grandmom. She has taken for me for my skating classes, for my education. My grandmom was a teacher in a government
Oh.
school. So education was very prime to her, and she just didn't let me down. Anytime that I had an emotional trauma, I used to just go to her. She used to roll her hand on my head and then just tell me that it's okay. So what? That's a part and parcel of life. And this strength that has come from her, I mean, I'm falling short of words to even describe it, because the sacrifices that she has done for me, the amount of efforts that she has done to raise me has been tremendous. And yes, my guardian angel is always there with me. I know that. So I'm not upset that she has left the world, but I know that she's always there to bless me wherever I am. And then, yes, my dad initially was a little reluctant that why Mount Everest? It is risky. What about her life? And my dad is a very filmy person. So Three Idiots had released a little before that. So he watched the movie and then he's like, yes, there is risk to life. If there is time for someone to die, they can even slip off a banana peel and die. So instead, why should we suffer from something that may not happen? Why to be in that confusion? Let her follow her passion, let her follow her dream. When it's time for any individual to leave the world, they will leave the world no matter how. So it's important that I also support her, and the support I've got from my dad from that moment onwards till date. Anything I tell them, I mean, imagine my mom. In fact, what she used to do during my races. So when I used to be in the under 14 category, she used to register me for the competition in under 20 category. I used to be the last person on the track, and I really enjoy it. Like, and under 18, everybody's, first of all, I'm short, plus I'm younger. Everybody's tall in the field of athletics, and for an 800-meter run, they're striding with long legs. By the time they finish 2 rounds, I'm still half a way behind. And then my mom used to like, oh, look at that duck over there. And she used to point out that. So she has life. And in fact, even now when I tell her that I'm going for any sport and all,
Right.
she is excited the most. She'll be the one on her toes. Okay, what happened? Did you finish? Did you win? So that amount of support that I've got from my family has been amazing. And luckily, the universe around me also has been very supportive. I've had wonderful friends, wonderful partner throughout the entire journey who have supported me. Of course, we are humans. I won't say that I don't have breakdowns. I too have breakdowns.
Right.
But then breakdowns are necessary in our lives, because only when you have breakdown, it gives you the opportunity to break through it.
Right.
And if everything is going in that momentum, life is not exciting, right? So you need those ups and downs. And yes, that's how my family has been a strong pillar for me. And my coaches, my friends, my family, my relatives, and my colleagues, of course. It's been a wonderful journey.
So that is so inspiring, and kudos to your family members, and also may your Nani soul rest in peace. And yeah, she would always be a guarding angel, and she would be directing you, and that makes absolute sense. And Bhagya, I'm also interested. How do you follow? Means what kind of practices or routines do you follow to maintain that positive outlook, always cheering? And when you speak about failures, also there is a sparkle in your eyes, right? It is not that easy, right? So how do you maintain this despite of facing significant challenges or failures?
My mantra for this is just face it. Because what happens is, okay, let's take an example of a diamond. It's cold, right?
Yeah.
Basically, it's cold, which has undergone so much of pressure. So it's your choice whether you would like to be a diamond or you would still like to stay a coal. And at times, if you want to stand at the place that you admire or desire to be at, it is important for you to take that pressure.
Yeah.
This learning comes from my mother. No matter what happens, you look at her, she will always keep smiling, giggling, laughing, no matter what. Like I told you, I have lost the race. I am upset about it. You should be upset about it, but you're laughing that it's okay, you tried. So she's always put me in the tougher shoes. And that, in fact, has acclimatized me to be this way. And trust me, the hardships that I've gone as a child, as my family, whether it's financially and with the lot of things that were going on, it was important for you to rise, right? So it's
Right.
always important. What aspect of life do you focus on? Out of 100 things, if 99 are not favoring me, I focus on those 99. I am actually not valuing that one thing which is going to make my life sparkle or shine. So that's the thing I started doing. So the 99 need to be left aside, and I started focusing on that one thing. And that's exactly what I kept doing. When it comes to relations or friendships, so people come, people go, they walk in, they walk out. But imagine the amount of efforts your parents have put in grooming you, the amount of efforts your supporters have been put in grooming you. They don't want you to be heartbroken, right?
Yeah.
That's why they put efforts. So instead of focusing on what relations I have lost, I have always focused on the ones who are with me, because we tend to forget them, we tend to neglect them, we tend to take them for granted, because of which life can go for a toss.
Yeah.
So it's important that things which are good for you, beneficial for you, I won't say forget things which are not in your favor, but then give them less importance. It's also important to focus on those things, because those are the things that you would start working on, twitching on, and then make them into the positive side. So it's important of how you see that you convert your negatives into your positive, and end of the day you need to be happy. I mean, that's I feel that this is the virtue of a human life. So there's no point in you being sad, upset, tripping about it all the time. But then yes, for me especially, sports has been that tool. I distract myself with sports. Every time I'm heartbroken, you'll probably see me running, you'll
Yeah.
see me cycling, or you'll see me climbing some mountain. And a lot of times in our life, this happens because we are so over occupied with a lot of things. Especially now when it comes to you're from the same working population, right? So we know that there is work stress, there are so many things that you need to handle, then the work life balance comes in. But it's important for us to reboot our system as well. For me, I do it by going to the mountains. I take a break sometimes, and it is necessary to go for holidays. Yes, dear listeners, please do go for vacation. I wouldn't say the holidaying all the time, but it's important because that's the balance, right? You
Right.
work, you stress out, and then end of the day you are just sitting home and cribbing about it. Oh, you know what, this happened, that happened. But then that one vacation is a reboot for yourself. You reboot your system mentally. Your soul cleanses in the mountains, for me at least. And for you, somebody else, it may be their hobby, it may be painting, it may be cycling, it may be gardening. So have hobbies in your life and follow them, because that's something that you need, because a mental break is always necessary.
Conquer with you. And in fact, many of our followers and many of our community members assume that I work 24 by 7 now that Bhagya has mentioned about taking a break and vacation. Here is a fact, guys. In the last 4 months, I've been to 7 states within India on personal trips. So I do also take breaks, and it is very important for us to rejuvenate. And thank you for insisting on that, Bhagya. And Bhagya, you have been setting highly ambitious goals, right? From Mount Everest expedition to cycling 19,400 kilometers across 19 states, 5 union territories, covering 400 schools, which is not easy, right? So, what steps do you take to stay committed and to committed to these goals despite setbacks?
Just plan for it. Just plan for it in your head. So trust me, this cycling journey of mine, it lasted for 6 months. I didn't even know whether it would be a Guinness World Record or not, but it was a try. My entire motivation behind this is more than the distance of cycling 19,400 kilometers. Tell them that follow your dreams, follow your passion. Education and sports are equally important, and try to balance them both,
Yeah.
because it is this fusion of education and sport, I feel a personality grows. I mean, that's my personal view. Of course, there are few people who are only dedicated to sport, and few of them who are only dedicated to education. But I feel that you have a backup. You're not insecure, because see, sports is more injury prone. You never know what changes in your cause of an injury. For me, in fact, my career line changed. I moved more towards cycling after my injury. Before that, I was more into rugby. I was into contact sport. But then I thought, okay, fine, let me take those precautions, and let me switch my sport. In fact, this journey also, when it started, there was so much that I learned from these beautiful children also. My journey started on 2nd of October 2017, from a small town in Palampur.
Mhm.
And second, what is there on 2nd of October?
Gandhi Jayanti.
And for the
And
working class,
Lal Bahadur Shastri's Jayanti as well, right?
brilliant. And it's also a holiday. That's what people look at. They don't look forward at whether it is Gandhiji or Lal Bahadur Shastriji's birthday. They see that it's a holiday, 2nd of
Holiday,
August. कुछ
right.
बाहर जाने का plan करते हैं. But when I was cycling, so that day we were not, there was no plan to visit any government school because it's going to be a holiday, right? But then we heard these children in Palampur practicing singing for a day, and we visited a school. We asked the teachers, why are they here on a holiday? And they were like, their parents want them to learn something on this important day of two legends of our country rather than sitting home and enjoying a holiday.
Yeah.
And that's what struck me also, that we always look for calendars for holidays, but then what productive thing can you do? So the perspective what they had was totally different. At certain places, in fact, I was in fact for my safety gifted a knife because I was a girl. This was in a town called Hazaribagh. But the thing is that that was the concern, right?
Yeah.
A lot of times, people who helped us, because of course, cycling, there were a lot of punctures, there were a lot of breakdowns. But then during these breakdowns, also, there were people also who came to help us out. Like even giving them 50 rupees in small towns, they said no to it. Giving them 500 rupees, they said no to it. They're like, no, we're just trying to help you. And instead, what I did was every places where I went, I was always gifted shawls. So I gifted them the shawl back as a token of honor for helping us, for supporting us. And that mattered to them more than the money that I offered them.
Mm.
So at times, it is the respect that people need in life and not money all the time. And it was so many, I mean, that was emotion for me. And then after, whether giving food to people or giving food to stray dogs throughout my entire course, I love stray animals, and especially when it comes to dogs. You would probably see me slow down, stop there, take a break, play with them for half an hour, and then again restart my. And this entire journey of 6 months, Naveen, was filled with so many beautiful experiences in life. The time passed by, I did not even realize.
Right.
Like even thinking of cycling for 6 months, oh my God, 6 months, what's going to happen? Oh, 20,000 kilometers. It was not like that. At the end of 1 month, at the end of 2 months, I used to just check my data. I had a GPS watch. I used to just check my data on it, tally it, and I was like, oh wow, I've cycled so much. And in a day, I used to visit around 200 government schools. So
Wow.
start my day early in the morning, cycling at 4:30. By 8 o'clock, take the first halt after 40, 50 kilometers in the school, talk to them, have breakfast with them, then get started for lunch, halt at another school, talk to them, interact with them, learn about their cultures. Languages, their languages are so beautiful. At times, I could not communicate in their local languages. So what I started doing was whatever I wanted to say. With the local teachers who knew the language, I used to get it translated from their language and I used to read it out to them. A lot of times, especially for these young kids, it was so beautiful because someone coming on a bicycle, wearing helmet, that fancy cycling gear, we look like aliens to them. And but they looked at me with a lot of inspiration, with a lot of hope, or with a lot of curiosity sometimes, and that helped them gel to the message that I was giving. So my message to them was on literacy, on basic things like why polio vaccination is important, and of course why sports is the main pillar, how it can discipline you in life.
Yeah.
And these never bored me at all. In fact, probably I would have done this for another 6 months. You would have still seen me on the street. But yes, I had to get back to the working class then.
Loved it. And do you have any thoughts to put pen down everything in the form of a book or something?
I've been asked to all the time, but I'm more of a speaker than a writer.
No, I think you have to
Yes.
give it a try because writing is something which is going to stay forever, right? And likewise, of course, this kind of content is also going to stay forever. But there are few people who love to read. In fact, that is the reason I've published two books, crafting stories from some of the inspiring conversations that I've had. So, yeah, I think you have to give it a try.
I'm going to connect with you on this soon.
Absolutely.
You're the fifth person behind my life now for the writing a book. I have 5 people who are going to follow up with me on this, I'm sure.
And I'm going to support you for sure. And Bhagya, this has been fabulous conversations, and I love some of these conversations, and I don't come up with expectations, but again, I had I thought this would come up so well, but it again exceeded my expectations. And after this highly inspiring conversation. It's time for us to add some more spice and some more excitement to the episode. So if you're ready, I'll kick off the second rapid fire round.
Let's go ahead.
Okay, here comes my first bullet. If you could have one gigantic billboard anywhere with anything on it, what would it say?
A lot of chocolates. No, I mean, that was just a joke, but yes, if I had something like that, I would just say chase your dreams and help others, have courage and be kind.
Yeah, yeah. So one of my favorite quotes is dream big and chase. That's it. Just dream big and chase. So yeah, chasing dreams is very important. And what is your favorite mountain memory?
My favorite mountain memory is my Sherpa. I know it's rapid fire, but I would like to speak about this.
Yeah, sure.
In fact, my Sherpa, Tenzing Dorje, he could not speak English or Hindi, and I couldn't speak Nepali. So with other Sherpas, I started learning Nepali, and that's how I started interacting with him. After a while, you see just the way the yaks in the mountain are walking and the yak babies following the mother yak. Nak is actually the female yak. And that's how me and my Sherpa used to be. So the entire valley in the mountain used to call us father and daughter duo. I used to call him Ao Papa, which means uncle father. And he used to call me Choti, which in their language means daughter. We were inseparable. Even now, when I get a chance, once in 6 months, once in a year, I call him from random numbers, and he's like, "Oh, Chori, he will ask me like, "You're fine, you're good." So memory with him has been tremendous. In fact, on mountain, when I had altitude sickness, my O2 really dropped down very low. I was put on oxygen cylinder. A lot of them thought that it's time for me to say bye-bye, and he did not give up on me. He immediately took all the precautions like I am his daughter. In fact, I did visit his village, did meet his wife, stayed at his house, a small house in Kumjum village and in Fort Say. And that memory I would never forget. So I know that I have a dad in Nepal as well. And yes, this year I'm planning to go and meet him. I plan to celebrate my birthday with him. For my birthdays, you would not see me cake cutting in the towns. You would see me somewhere in the mountains or probably chasing my dreams, following my passions. And yes,
Super.
So Our Papa is my best memory on the mountain. And because of which, I learned Nepali. I sing Nepali songs. And I am half Sherpini, I would say, because I have his genes indirectly.
Love it. And I'm sure there is a chapter for your Ao Papa in your book.
Definitely. One big long chapter. In fact, I do have some articles that I've written for him. I would have them shared with you.
Superb. Yeah, I would look forward to it. And Bhagya, describe yourself in just one word.
Awesome.
You are. And the best book you have ever read.
The Wildest Dream.
And the most inspiring figure in your life.
Most inspiring, I did tell you about it. It's my grandma.
Yeah.
Because she's a role model for me. But then, yes, when it comes to sports, there are a lot of them. There is Arunima Sinha, an amputee who climbed Mount Everest. And then there are so many of them when it comes to Neil Armstrong, who managed to prove the world that, okay, we can dream beyond as well. So many of them, of course. And when you speak of our local legends, all the Indian athletes now doing at Olympics are all inspiration for me because I know the pain that they take, what it takes to get there. It was my childhood dream to be in Olympics one fine day. But then, yes, I see them living their dream and I do look forward them of aspiration.
I love it. The other day I was looking at a hoarding with iPhone advertisement and it was talking about some kids pictures, photographs of kids. It says 2036 hopefuls, right? I was so inspired by looking at those pictures and yeah, great that you mentioned about all the participants in the Olympics. Yeah, it is not that easy to get there, right? 75 people out of 1.4 billion. Imagine what is the probability of getting there. Amazing.
And we're doing amazing in even niche sports which have been recently introduced. That's where the struggle comes from. And if you see many of these athletes like Hima Das and all, they come from such a humble background. But then they decided not to stay there, get out of the box, prove the world that our demographics are not going to stop us from whatever our dreams are. And they have been proving us the same.
Yeah.
So all this humbleness that comes from them really inspires me personally.
No, no. I like those kind of stories and all, and it's all about the dream which got implanted, and they wanted to chase it, right? So nothing is impossible in this world as long as our mind can conceive it, we can achieve it, and those kind of things. Even in our confluence, I think Baichung Bhutia, right? His story was also inspiring, and he comes from a place where again nobody could imagine that he would become a football legend in India, right?
Yes, and not just place. I mean, imagine the journey of football that he contributed to. Now, every small child in different corner, every state has that dream of playing football for Team India and getting laurels for our nation.
Be another Baichung Bhutia kind of thing, right? Amazing.
Exactly.
That's so amazing to see many athletes making it to Olympics from India, and I'm sure there are going to be much more brighter days for Indian sports. And with that, let's move to my next question from the second rapid fire round. So, Bhagya, what is your favorite achievement so far?
My favorite achievement so far. It's not one, there are many. But then, yes, I would speak about the Guinness World Record ride because after breaking my leg, I did realize what I am capable of. That doesn't mean that you have to wait for your leg to break. But then, yes, plan for it. Planning is very important because once you have planned it over here, implementation is super easy because things start falling in place automatically.
Yeah.
Of course, you have to work for it, but then they start aligning, I would say.
Yeah. Here comes a bonus question, actually, which is one of my favorites. What is your favorite failure?
My favorite failure?
Yeah.
Wow. My favorite failure has been Mount Everest, not summiting Mount Everest, because I learned a lot in this journey, especially at the age of 18, where I thought that I'm carrying a burden of 10,000 people who supported me for this climb. I failed them, but then I realized that instead of focusing on that last chunk, this 8,000 meters that I gained, the experiences, the life lessons, it's about survival, valuing humans more over any materialistic life, being more humane towards life, understanding the virtues of life. That has been my biggest learning. In fact, I always say this to people that throughout our childhood, we've been taught that success and failure are opposite each other. But no, I feel that failure is part of success. And yes, so please follow your dreams. Like it's your billboard, right?
That's right. That's right. All right. So here comes the last one for the second rapid fire. If you could have dinner with anyone, who would it be?
I to have dinner with my grandma.
Yeah, that's so moving. And Bhagya, thank you so much for participating in the second rapid fire round. Amazing insights. And let's be back to the mainstream. So, what advice would you give to young athletes, adventurers, or anyone with big dreams who might be facing their own challenges and doubts?
That's the gist of the entire talk. In fact, what I had today, give it a try. Don't worry about the outcomes. Give it a try. If you win, it's a bonus for you. If you fail, it gives you one more opportunity to go and give it a shot.
Yeah.
And not just that, in fact, the entire conversation, we spoke a lot about failures, but I feel that it's very important for you to understand of what the process has been. Whether what are the things that are aligning in your favor, not aligning in your favor. At the same time, it's very important that you practice with safety. In fact, when I had to turn back from mountain, my Sherpa also told me the same thing. In Hindi, we have a proverb which says, Sar Salamat Pagdi Pachas, which means if your head is fine, you can even wear 50 turbans. Similarly, on mountain, you need to stay alive. The goal of climbing Mount Everest is not summiting, it is always coming back safe because the mountain is always there. You can always come back for the mountain. So don't worry about things that, okay, if I would have given little extra push with more risk, probably you don't know it may lead to uncertainty or not, but practice with safety because imagine you achieving your dream once and you achieving it 5 times, what's going to give you more happiness? And every time you do it, you're going to be the better version of yourself. So yes, give it a try and practice with utmost safety.
I'm super enthralled. And one thing that came to my mind, right, if I were to elaborate this FAIL, one of the most profound definitions that came to my mind is first attempt in learning. And I could see that you are embracing failures and you're standing tall, you're learning from them and coming up with bigger and bigger challenges, which is so inspiring. And I'm sure it is going to inspire our audience. Dream big and chase. And I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation. So, Bhagya, now it's your turn. Tell me, how is your experience being hosted on The Guiding Voice?
Brilliant. In fact, the conversation with you was very nostalgic. It made me relive the entire journey. And yes, just learning from my past experiences itself, it's adding on, it's opening up a lot of things in my mind already. Okay, wherever I'm stuck, I was like, fine, I learned this on the mountain. I just spoke about it. Let me try that approach in life. So, yes, the beautiful conversation. Thank you so much, Naveen, for rejuvenating me with my story again. And I'm sure that with all what we spoke today, I am again going to have another happy start for certain places where I'm stuck at. And yes, that's how life keeps moving, right? So appreciate, embrace, and move on. That's what I again reiterated in this entire conversation.
Fabulous, and I'm looking forward to hosting you in future. And let's do many more episodes, and let's inspire the world so that they can get better at everything that they do. And I wish you all the best on all your future endeavors. And keep inspiring, keep shining.
Thank you so much, Naveen. An amazing job with the TGV show. I did see a couple of episodes and they're really inspiring. You're doing an amazing job connecting with so many individuals, helping their stories reach out to a wider audience. I'm sure that each one of us has a story to share and that is special to them. Even just managing to get up on time with an alarm clock is also a story that inspires on time management and dedication and commitment. So yes, thank you so much once again, Naveen. It's been a wonderful time that I've had spent with you today. So yes, looking
Pleasure to
forward to
host
see you.
you. Yeah, pleasure to host you and more power to you. And friends, that was our episode with Bhagyashree Sawant. And before we jump into the fun trivia section, we have a quick request. In case if you haven't already subscribed to TGV, the Guiding Voice podcast, please subscribe to our podcast from wherever you have tuned in because subscribing keeps you updated on new episodes. And also, if you are listening to this episode on Apple Podcasts or Spotify Podcasts, request you to hit follow button and also provide a rating and review so that our platform reaches wider audience. And also, if you have enjoyed the conversation, please share with at least three of your friends or colleagues, or maybe in three of your WhatsApp or Telegram groups, so that they might also like the guiding voice. So spread the knowledge and help others grow just like you are growing. And all right, now it's time for us to hop into the trivia segment. Having had amazing conversation with Bhagyashree Sawant, who has also done triathlons and many more athletic activities, I thought I would present you few lesser known facts about triathlon, especially the origins. First of all, a triathlon consists of swimming, cycling, and running, which are performed sequentially in the same order: swimming, cycling, and running. And when we talk about the origins, the first modern triathlon is believed to have been held in San Diego in California, United States on September 25th, 1974, and which was organized by the San Diego Track Club. And this event included a 6-mile run, a 5-mile bike ride, and a 500-yard swim. And second is about the Ironman triathlon. One of the most famous triathlon events was first held in 1978 in Hawaii. And it was conceptualized by combining the Waikiki rough water swim and the around Oahu bike race and the Honolulu Marathon into a single event. And third is about triathlon becoming an Olympic sport. It happened in the year 2000 Sydney Games, which helped popularize the sport worldwide. So that's it from my side from the trivia perspective. Likewise, if you are aware of any interesting facts related to triathlon, do let me know in the form of comments. If you are watching this on YouTube or if you have found the episode on social media, you can comment there also. So, folks, thank you so much for tuning in and also for being part of our awesome TGV family. Would love to hear from you. So, do not hesitate to share your ideas, feedback, guest speaker suggestions, and most importantly, topic recommendations either through our social media or you can also email us at theguidingvoiceforyou@gmail.com, 4 as in digit 4 and you as in letter U. And let's create content that resonates with you. I'm your host, Naveen Samala, a lifelong learner. And my goal is to have impactful conversations that simplify and amplify your success. So until next time, take care, stay inspired, and remember, the future holds great things because the best is yet to come. Goodbye for now. See you on the next episode with another amazing guest. Take care. Love you all.